When COVID-19 struck a couple of weeks ago, and companies really started to realize that in the United States, this was going to be a dramatic change to how they do business and to their sales, my clients froze tons of their marketing budgets, and I immediately, over the course of one weekend, lost over $200,000 of work that I was counting on in the upcoming weeks and months. Now, I could have been completely devastated by that, and I could have been a puddle of sorrow and sadness, sitting on the floor, crying, feeling sorry for myself, being angry. But the truth of the matter was, I wasn't angry because I recognize that they're being good stewards of their business so that they can come through this in the end, and ultimately, I can still work with them. And I'm really grateful when people are good stewards of their business. But also, I wasn't devastated because I've already taken precautions to make sure that I'm all right. I already know where I stand financially on a day-by-day basis, week, month, quarter, year, and I knew that I would be okay even with this sudden disruption in my pipeline of sales. But a couple of days later, I was working with a private client, and he had booked a very small amount of work with me, comparative to the couple $100,000. And he ended up deciding also to postpone that work. And that straw broke the camel's back, or so they say. And I had to take some time really to regroup and to let myself grieve, and again, to reassess my first assessment, to really triple check that I was okay, and then to take action after that. After that, I decided to get profoundly tapped in to gratitude and profoundly tapped into generosity, and just to give as much as I could to help as many businesses as possible. My goal is 5,000 businesses, to help 5,000 businesses through this COVID-19 and the impact that it has on their business so that they don't lose what they've been building and they can come out of this stronger on the other side. One of the major things that has allowed me to take that stance and not to crumble and just be a mess has been that I really understand myself. It's been a journey for many, many, many years for me to understand myself, understand my process, and to let myself work through my process when I need to work through my process. And it's one of the things that I'm noticing in conversation after conversation that so many of you don't necessarily have that built in yet. So I just wanted to go over with you 5 tips that I feel will really help you as business owners, as leaders, to be able to weather this storm, because all of the things that you're doing externally within your business, the sales efforts that you're making, switching to virtual consultations, having a better rehash program, reaching out to past clients, reaching out to follow up, amping up your email strategy, your social strategy, adjusting your messaging, all those externals are certainly going to impact your business in a positive way and are going to help you keep that flow of sales still coming in, even if it's just a trickle. But what really is a deciding factor on whether or not this makes or breaks you is your mental fortitude, how you're going to approach this situation and what you're going to decide about it. So the process that I use is really simple in terms of looking at where I am at any given point. And it's a process I'm using right now in COVID, but it's also a process that I use throughout my life. The very first one is that if I feel genuinely burnt out, stressed beyond, I take a break. So if you feel completely overwhelmed by everything that's happening and you're just pushing through and pushing through and pushing through, I would encourage you to take advantage of this unprecedented moment where you're not being pulled into the office and being pulled in 25 different directions, and to take a break. If you need to clear your schedule for a day or two to be able to help yourself breathe and get emotionally okay with this, you, my friend, are the biggest asset in your business. As the owner of a small business, you are an essential asset. And just like they say in the airlines, put your own mask on before helping others. You cannot serve from an empty cup. You have to serve your clients. You have to serve your people who work for you. You have to be there for your business. And if you're devastated internally and you don't take the time that you need to process it, you won't be able to do that. One of the things that I've learned early on in my coaching career is that as a coach, you have to be well on demand. The same goes with your business. When your business is in crisis and you're navigating that, you need to be well enough to be available to your team, to be available to the strategic thinking, the creative thinking that's required to get you out of this. So if you need a break, take one. Decompress, do things that you love. Reach into your self-care bag of tricks and make sure that you're taking care of yourself and finding a way to unplug from all of the trauma and the drama that's going on around you. That's the first thing. Give yourself the time and space to process so you can set it aside and then go forward. Second thing is make sure that you have a buffer, a financial buffer for sure. Make sure that you have one. If you are in this sorry situation that you don't have a war chest available to you now because you haven't been building one up, avail yourself of the resources that are being all around you. Make sure that you create as much of a buffer for yourself as possible by being really cautious about your spending in your business and in your personal life. Create a buffer. It will give you a lot of ease. The third thing is recognize that you're not alone. I shared my story at the beginning of this video, and I am not alone in the fact that I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a weekend. People have lost more than that over the course of an even shorter time. There are so many businesses right now who are struggling, and please don't make the assessment that you're a bad business owner, that you don't know what you're doing, that you're not good at this, that you're a fraud, etc. All the noise that might be happening in your head, don't do that to yourself, because know that you are not alone. This is a process that so many people are going through, and I'm not saying misery loves company here. I'm saying take solace in the fact that you haven't done anything extraordinarily bad to land the business in this situation. This is genuinely one of those act of God things that you have no control over. So absolve yourself of the harsh decree or judgment that you're somehow doing things wrong. We can choose how we feel about this, and I choose to feel optimistic and to look forward even in the face of the challenge. Next thing is, and I mentioned this earlier, is get grateful. Look around. Look at all the things you have to be grateful for in your life and start getting radical gratitude in your life. Every time you're tempted to feel sorry for yourself or to sit on that pity pot or to feel bad about where you are, I want you to really tap into all the things that you have. The family members, the home, even the business, even if it's struggling, the fact that you had the grit and the determination to start and to grow a business, something to be grateful for, right? So get grateful with it so that you can release those lower dragging, those heavy emotions that are not going to help you buoy yourself up during this stormy moment. And last but certainly not least, be generous. Generosity starts at home. Be generous with yourself. As I said in the beginning, give yourself the time and space you need for yourself, but be generous with yourself in lots of ways, right? Make sure that you're taking time to do the parts of your business that you love the most. Because if you're only focused on the parts that are hard for you and the parts that are difficult for you, you're going to struggle to make it through. Get generous with yourself. Do the work that you love to do. Make sure that you are making time and space for the people in your family. I generally take Fridays off to work with my son, to play with my son, to be with my son. And this Friday was no exception. I'm taking a little bit of time to share these lessons with you because I know that they can help, because he needs some time away from me too. But it's important to be generous with yourself and recognize the things that you need to fill your own cup up. Is it time with family? Is it maybe some alone time if you've had 24/7 with your family? What do you need to feel renewed? And once you've been generous with yourself, be generous with others. The universe cannot be outdone in generosity. And if you tap into that flow of generosity, you will find maybe that it doesn't come back to you in the short term, but in the long term, it most certainly will. So during these really crazy and difficult times to navigate, I just want you to make sure that you work a process so that you yourself are in a really strong position to lead your business through this. If you just keep on moving forward without taking the time to do the steps I just described, it's going to be quite hard for you to keep your head above water, and you're going to struggle. And remember, you are the biggest asset in your business. Don't burn yourself out in this moment. Take advantage of the time that you have unplugged from your business, regroup, make short-term plans. 2-week sprints and evaluate, and keep a 2-week sprint going on until things start to begin to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you try to make 6-month, 1 year, 18-month plans, it's going to be so difficult to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your short-term plans short-term and keep an eye out for when you're ready to make a long-term plan. In the meantime, I want you to stay healthy. I want you to stay happy and stay tuned for more from me in the upcoming days and weeks. Thanks, everybody. If you liked this and you found it valuable, please share it with someone in your network who is an entrepreneur, a small business owner, and like it, comment on it, and subscribe to my channel. See you all soon. Bye.